when we were setting this pod up last week and we was booking in the time, Jack said, I look forward to the next counselling session already, to which Neil followed up, says, at least you won a game. Bournemouth Twitter will be apocalyptic if we lose on Saturday. And you did, Neil. Is it?
Yes.
So what's the mood amongst the fan base at the moment now?
It's very split. So I think there is a portion of the fan base that agrees perhaps with the media narrative that I'm sure we'll talk about around maybe the club acted rashly over the summer, mixed in with a few, a growing proportion that want a change now. I haven't seen any reasonable suggestions as to who that would be, which is another argument entirely. But then you do have a much more reasonable 50% that is, well, what more did we really expect? By the past two games, and I think Saturday you can put down to a mixture of mistakes, like individual errors as much as anything. Everton game, not so good. But before those two, like when we spoke last, I mean, from those seven, what were Bournemouth fans expecting? So it feels like a two-game referendum, which I think the other half understand in Twitter that's madness. You can't totally change the direction of the club off of essentially two games.
No, I get that. And you'll have probably heard me say kind of week to week. And I know we had you on just before the Arsenal game, but it's the three games since. It was the manner of the defeat to Arsenal. Iraola coming out and saying, like, look, played badly today, kind of didn't really recognise what trying to. Because I kept saying, look, the methods are there. When we spoke, you'd only lost to Tottenham, Liverpool, Brighton. You know, okay, fair enough. 3 draws in the other 3 is absolutely fine. But then to lose like that, which can happen against a good team like that, but it was a slapping. Then to get done at Everton the way you did puts then real pressure on the next two. The first of which obviously includes the former manager who many think shouldn't have got sacked, coming back. Your central midfield player loses his head at 1-1, literally. And you end up getting beat. And now the pressure's on. Iraola's odds-on favourite to be the next manager to lose his job. And there have been reports circling, you can correct us if it's wrong, but there are those suggesting should you get beat on Saturday to Burnley, game might be up.
I suspect, unfortunately, it might be. I mean, I'm very much an Iraola believer. I think he is the right man still. But there does come a point in a Premier League, considering the money we've spent as well, that 10 games without a win. I mean, and with 3 of those games, presuming we lose it, if we were to lose at the weekend, being, with respect, winnable, I think the writing is then on the wall. I don't think the board can really do much more then.
The 3 points for the first 7 with what you had, which was a horrendous set of fixtures, which we kind of laughed about in pre-season because it was that bad, is like, okay. But then to lose the 3 afterwards.
Yes. You could accept the first 7 if you were to then go and get 5, 6, even 4 points from these 3 games. But if you get nothing, I think that's trouble.
So, I mean, do you think you'll go if you lose Saturday then?
I wouldn't be surprised. I hope he doesn't. And I hope that the board is more measured. But this is the first time we're seeing this new ownership group reacting under pressure. And they're an American ownership group, as we've spoken before. And I know from his experience at other sports clubs that he has managed, this is Bill Foley I'm talking about here, he does make, decisive decisions. So I wouldn't be overly surprised if that happens. And hopefully it doesn't, because I think that would prove to be a mistake in the long run.
Okay, so tell the listeners and viewers why. You're saying you'd stick at the moment.
Yeah.
What is it that you've seen that makes you think this is the right direction for the club?
So I think the reason that we made the change, and perhaps that hasn't been what's been communicated. Obviously, a lot of the listeners here will have seen how harshly we treated Gary O'Neill narrative, how we sacked the young English manager for this Spanish chap, and that obviously then got amplified this week, and as it was always going to be with the result that happened. I think that the changes that we made were to make a decisive culture and stylistic change away from where we were. And, regardless of your thoughts over football and perhaps how it should be played, the board made that decision. Now, I don't think there is someone else out there that could continue to carry that on. Considering we've spent 150 million pounds in over the past two windows to achieve a goal. So you're kind of having to start again, which is mad. I also think that the way that he is playing, and barring a few, frankly ridiculous mistakes from senior players, like with Cook, and the second goal, the winning goal. I mean, that was an absolute clusterchuck from all involved. I think he would perhaps have 1 or 2, 3 wins, maybe, because you've got that one, the individual error against Everton that set them up for the first goal, and okay, there's an argument maybe Zabani shouldn't be playing that way, and maybe he's not comfortable with that. But I think there's enough there, and the squad that's been built, that gives me real hope that this team that got plaudits in the pre-season can be something really quite exciting.